This is your goofy Uncle Tree Jam, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of Mass Effect 1. Last time we left off, we headed to humanity's home system, Sol, to disable a rogue VI that had taken over an Alliance training facility on Luna. We disabled each of the VI clusters, but something seemed off about the supposed VI's behavior. It somehow reached sentience, moving closer to the status of an AI. How and why it managed to do so is a question we will have to wait to answer in the sequels. For now, it is time to begin our next endeavor in Mass Effect 1, and we're going to be doing UNC Major Kyle. Now, just a quick remark, if you have a Commander Shepard with the ruthless background, where Shepard took part in the raids on Torfin, then she will know, or he or she will know Major Kyle, who was his or her commanding officer during the Torfin raids. But for right now, let's go ahead and boot up the galaxy map and get the assignment underway. Let's leave the orbit of Luna, Earth's moon, and get out of the local cluster. We're going to be heading to the Hawking-Etta cluster and the Century system. If you remember at the beginning of the game, somewhere during our first foray on the Citadel, we found a computer in Ambassador Dina's office detailing a biotic commune in the Century system. This is where Major Kyle is holed up. Once we get to Century, Admiral Hackett should have a briefing for us explaining a bit about the Major's background and his motivations. Let's get to it.
Message coming in, Commander. Big surprise, the Alliance needs you again.
Shepard, this is Admiral Hackett with Alliance Command. We've got a mission for you. An Alliance officer named Major Kyle has set up a small compound in the Hawking-Etta cluster. He's attracted a number of followers, mostly biotics. He's become an outspoken critic of the Alliance, and we believe he's mentally unstable. This could be trouble, Shepard.
What kind of proof do you have that the Major is dangerous?
3 days ago, we sent 2 Alliance representatives to meet with him at his compound. They've disappeared. We believe Kyle and his followers killed them. That compound is a cult, Shepard. They call him Father Kyle now. He set himself up as some kind of religious leader.
What else can you tell me about Major Kyle?
He used to be a model soldier, but something happened to him at Torfin. Too many Alliance soldiers died under his command. Couldn't cope with the guilt. His psych evaluations showed he couldn't handle the stress of command anymore. He was given an honorable discharge and early retirement. We'd hoped he would get better in time, but we underestimated how far gone he was. Now it looks like it's too late.
You said his followers were biotics?
Yes. Major Kyle never showed any biotic tendencies himself, though. I think he's just latched onto a group he identifies with. Many biotics feel marginalized or ostracized by society. Kyle probably sees them as victims who need his protection, and they see him as someone who will fight for them. Unfortunately, he's convinced them that the Alliance is somehow responsible for all their problems. We can't let him go on like this.
What were those Alliance representatives going to talk to Major Kyle about?
They wanted to bring him back to an Alliance facility for treatment. Major Kyle served us faithfully for many years. We weren't going to abandon him. Given his state of mind, however, he probably saw them as a threat. We're almost certain he had his followers killed him.
I might be able to end this without violence.
That may not be possible, Commander. We don't want a bloodbath, but Kyle is dangerous. I'll trust you to use your judgment. Hack it out.
Alright, so Admiral Hackett has given us a little bit of briefing on Major Kyle and his compound. Before we begin this assignment, I just want to go ahead and describe some of the history of Mass Effect with regards to the lore, and particularly with regards to the system's Alliance position in the galaxy in the current year of 2183. Several years ago, the system's Alliance began rapid colonization and expansion throughout the galaxy. This put them at odds with another race called the Batarians, another Council-aligned species that had interests in some of the areas that humanity was expanding in, everything from colonies to certain economic pursuits. Now, humanity actually began taking over certain areas that were originally leased over to the Batarians for their expansion, and this caused a little bit of hot blood between humans and Batarians. Humans wanted to move in, and Batarians wanted to tell the humans to stay out of their home turf. This boiled over eventually at the Skillian Blitz, where after a number of incidents with the Alliance moving into Batarian territories, as well as after the Alliance began clamping down on pirate activity, a number of Batarian and pirate financiers decided to finance a raid on the colony of Elysium in 2176. This raid was led by a man by the name of Ilanos Halliot, who we'll be seeing a bit later. But long story short, the Alliance managed to repel the invasion, and in 2178, 2 years after the Skillian Blitz on Elysium, the Alliance led an attack on Torfin, crippling many of the mercenary and pirate bases there. Now, the attack on Torfin resulted in a number of casualties for the system's alliance, and Major Ka was the commanding officer in charge, and if Commander Shepard has the ruthless background, you will see that Shepard led a bunch of soldiers, and under Shepard's command, a number of soldiers died in service. And coupled with the casualties on the Batarian and pirate side, this earned Shepard the nickname the Butcher of Torfin. So, that's if you have the ruthless background. We have a survivor background, so we will not have a shared history with Major Kyle, and Major Kyle will not recognize us. But let's go ahead and scan the system of Century for resources so that we can get this assignment started. At the planet of Theropto, I believe we will find ourselves a League of One medallion. Done deal. Let's keep looking around. Let's stop off at the planet of Kanktra. And if we survey the planet, I think we have Cobalt. Yep. There we go. Let's take a look right here. We should have an asteroid. Let's move in for a closer look. And it seems we found some palladium. We're getting these collection quests in game knocked off a list, slowly, bit by bit, making slow progress, but we are getting them done. The planet of Tamahira does not have anything of value for us, but that's okay. And if you guys want to read the descriptions, just pause the video and please read at your own pace. I don't have the time to cover every single planet. I will, however, take a look at the planet of Clendagon. In Mass Effect 2, Clendagon will come under, it will be brought up for discussion by a certain pivotal figure that we'll be working for in the second game. Clendagon actually has a feature called the Great Rift Valley, and this valley is formed by a mass accelerator round that impacted the planet a long time ago. In Mass Effect 2, we're going to find the target of that mass accelerator round drifting in space. But that's enough spoilers for now. Let's go ahead and leave orbit, and we're going to be doing our assignment on the moon of Presrop. So let's prepare for landing. Presrop is a moon of Clendagon. It is a frigid, barren world with an extremely thin atmosphere of carbon dioxide and ethane. The crust contains plentiful deposits of heavy metals. The Alliance has opened bidding for the moon's mineral rights, but exploitation will be complicated by the system's proximity to the 5 kiloparsec ring around the galactic core. The ring is an area of intense star formation and too dangerous to safely travel. Presrop's landscape is a nightmare of jagged overlapping ridges and geological sock zones created by some ancient disaster. This has not deterred a generation of illegal wildcat miners from attempting to exploit the moon's mineral riches. Unfortunately, many have lost their lives. Let's go ahead and prep for landing. For this assignment, we're not going to need to worry too much about combat, but I will take some thematically appropriate characters. We're going to be taking Caden Alenko because he is a biotic and he understands the prejudice that biotics face in society, and especially understands some of the things that biotics have faced while in the bot training program. We're also going to take Liara Tassoni because she is also a biotic user. But it looks like we're set. Ladies and gents, we go for Presrop. Let's begin our orbital drop. Alright, we have made a lunar landing. Before we do anything else, I just want to call attention to the planet of Clendagon, which is right here. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there are a couple of planets in Mass Effect 1 whose texture has been adapted from real-life satellite photos of Mars' surface, and I think Clendagon is an example of that. If you actually take a look at the surface, the footage that you're seeing has actually been taken from satellite photos of Mars. But let's go ahead and look at the map and start looking for resources that we might need. Over here I'm going to try and mark an area, and we should find an ore deposit nearby. So, bon voyage. It looks like we found a uranium deposit, so let's get out on foot and salvage this for the Alliance. And I'm actually not that far away from where I put the marker, but the ore deposit is actually right about there. So, let's go in and mark this for the Alliance, get some resources that we might need, and avoid any nuclear radiation. Done deal. Looking pretty good thus far. Now, we actually have a little bit of combat coming up in just a moment. This area will not relate at all to UNC Major Kyle. The enemies that we're going to fight here have nothing to do with the assignment. They're just there for a little bit of experience. But for right now, let's prep for contact. Okay, we are actually overlooking the area where these mercenaries are situated. They're right here. We have one sniper, one biotic user, and 3 other soldiers to contend with. So, what we will do is I will show you on the map where I am. We're not that far away from the ore deposit. I kind of realized just how close I am to this place, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and just bum rush them. I have no need for experience since I am level 60, and I just want to get this done as quickly as possible. And it seems we're already taking fire. So let's stay low, and keep in mind that these guys do have rockets, so if you are on foot, be advised, they can do a lot of damage to you and your squad. And there is a biotics user. So let's move in and aim the cannon. That didn't work too well. There we go. There we go. Sniper's down. We have one more hostile. Let's finish him off. And we have another soldier take out. Oh, come on, dude. That's right. Run my Mako, see what happens. Yeah. Now they have immunity on, so they're going to be very difficult to take out. So let's go ahead and just mess around with them a little bit. There we go. This is almost unfair, but you know what? Enemies in Mass Effect 1 do not fight fair. Neither do I. But there we go. There are no containers to loot. There is no treasure that we can obtain from going here. It's mainly just combat. But we're pretty much done here, but we are not done with the extraneous combat. If we go north, we will find ourselves a Thresher Maw nest. So let's mark this area and prep for contact. Okay, we are on a ledge overlooking the Thresher Maw nest. If you take a look at my reticule, if you can see it, the nest is right about here. But we want to be careful when approaching the area, because Thresher Maw can show up whenever we least expect it. But we are actually right about here on this ledge. Let's move in for a closer look and get situated for our little attack on this Thresher Maw. Just moving real nice and slow. Took a little bit of damage, but that's okay. Don't really care too much about the tires in this game. Alright, we are now in the nest. Let's move around real carefully. Nothing yet. There it is. Oh wow, that one came out of the blue. Hang on. Out of the blue. Look at that blue tongue. Yes. Look at that blue tongue. You are one ugly SOB. But the typical strategy for fighting a Thresher Maw is to keep the Mako still and just use the jets to jump whenever the acid attack comes your way. If you move around too much, the Thresher Maw will burrow underground, and worst case scenario, it will resurface underneath the Mako / your squad, and if it does that, it's an instant kill. You also don't want to get too close to this guy, because if you do, its melee attack will send you and your squad to the morgue and take out the Mako in one hit. Every single one of the Thresher Maw's attacks can bypass the shields of the Mako, so don't think that you are invulnerable by being inside this tank. Thankfully, fighting the Thresher Maw is pretty simple so long as it doesn't burrow underground and decide to resurface elsewhere. Just gotta keep the Mako firing, keep the cannons working on this guy, and if you want to fight them on foot, but you want to minimize damage done to your squad, you can use the Mako to weaken the Thresher Maw, and then get out on foot when it's about dead just to finish it off. That way you will get the full experience benefit, and some bragging rights if you wish. Let's keep dodging. We're almost ready to take this guy out. Let me go ahead and just, hang on. Back up for the last one. Okay, now. Yeah. Alright, Thresher Maw's down. Let me go ahead and give my squad some gear and just get them outfitted real quick. And I think we're set. Alright, let's get back in the Mako. I went ahead and gave my squad mates some medical exoskeletons. That way Caden can heal up and get that toxin resistance, get that going. Let's go ahead and get inside. And we are going to explore an abandoned encampment right about, I'd say, about there-ish. Let's go in for a closer look. It seems we found a pathway up the side of this mountain, right about here. Now if you remember, the description for Presrop mentioned illegal wildcat miners. Well, it seems we found an encampment, or about to find an encampment that belongs to some of these miners. So let's head up this way and see what we can find here. We should be coming up on the encampment pretty soon. It's about... Yep, right about here. Let's go in for a closer look. This cluster of prefab utility shacks have a distinctly ramshackle look to them. A set of rover tracks lead away over the mountain ridge to the southwest. It seems that we do have an encampment of illegal wildcat miners. Let's go ahead and salvage this shed real quick. It seems that no one's been back in some time, and more than likely, they're not going to be back for a while. So, they're not going to miss this stuff. We can just introduce ourselves to some, hospitality, some goodies. Let's take a look inside this shack real quick. Grab these items. And take a look at the technician kit. Grab this. I think we're looking pretty good. Alright. Now, it did mention there was a set of rover tracks leading to the southwest. Let me just take a look around these shacks and make sure nothing's on the outside. Alright. I think we're set. There's nothing over here, so the rover is gone. But the area where we will find the rover is in this pit right here, and we will also find a area where we can obtain a Turian insignia. So I'm going to mark this anomaly right here, and we're going to go finding this set of illegal wildcat miners. It seems we've come up on the missing rover, and it looks like the crew's dead. This does not bode well. What we're going to do is we're going to salvage this Turian wreckage right here. And it seems that they attempted to mark the wreckage, but they did not survive on Presrop. Let's see if we can make their sacrifice mean something and claim this where someone can benefit from the fruits of their labor. And we have an insignia from the Macedon outpost. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at this rover. Bring the Mako down here so I don't get stuck. Yeah. I think they've seen better days. The front of the rover is crumpled in from impact. A glance inside tells you that the occupants, probably a team of illegal wildcat miners, are dead. Debris is still sliding down the furrows left by its tires, silent in the near-vacuum atmosphere. Not a good way to die. Like I said before, if I die, I want to die not too far away from civilization, where there's someone, to keep track of my records, keep track of my existence. I just don't like the idea of dying alone. It doesn't seem right to me. Let's go ahead and move on. There's nothing we can do for these folk. They're gone. But let's mark this debris pile right here and collect some salvage. Alright, we are coming up on a crash probe. Let's get out on foot and claim whatever goodies are inside this bad boy. Let's take a look at the manual bypass and get this thing going. There we go. Nothing that we really want, but that's okay. We can always use it for Omnigel should the need arise. But we only have one more item to obtain. We have an ore deposit right here, and the biotic compound that we need to go into and negotiate with Major Kyle is right here. So we can knock out two birds with one stone. But let's get moving. Alright, we are coming up on the biotic compound. This area has two buildings of interest. We have the building right here, which is kind of a general gathering area of some kind. I'm not quite sure. And we also have the area where Major Kyle is being kept. This main part of the compound. But the ore deposit that we're going to obtain is right up this way, and I believe it is a gold deposit. Yep. Let's go ahead and make our Yukon Trail ancestors proud. Get this gold. Be prospecting in the hills, man. There be gold in them hills. Let's take a look and claim this for the Alliance. See? We're gonna make a lot of computer users happy. They're gonna have gold-plated chips, man. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have a gold-plated CPU. It's gonna be awesome. But anyway, let's move this way. I actually have no idea if a gold-plated CPU is something you'd want. I'm not really big on my physics side of things. Well, let's go ahead and look at this medical kit real quick and grab it because we're not going to need it. We're actually going to be avoiding combat. We're not going to engage any of Major Kyle's followers, and we're going to try and pull out of this with no casualties whatsoever. We want Major Kyle to come in without incident, and we don't want to kill anybody. So let's put our weapons away and try and gain audience with Major Kyle.
This is a private sanctuary. Outsiders are not welcome here.
I need to talk to the man in charge. It's important.
Father Kyle wants nothing more to do with the Alliance.
I want this to end peacefully. If he doesn't see me, people could get hurt.
We won't let you take Father Kyle away. He protects us. We need him.
The Alliance wants someone to pay for those murders. Let me speak to Major Kyle and maybe I can find some way to help you all get out of this alive.
Wait. Father Kyle will speak with you. Head to the building at the far end of the compound. He'll meet you there.
We're not going to head into that building just yet. We're actually going to head inside here and collect any containers. Now, my advice to you, save the game. No joke, save the game. If anything goes wrong and you end up killing a bunch of people, it may or may not screw up this assignment, and you don't want to do that, especially when you put in... This is a game where you have to put in hours, and to have to reload from a save a long time back is a real pain in the ass. So, make sure you keep your saves handy. It is an RPG, and if you have a decision-based RPG, you definitely want to make sure that you always have a backup save in case things don't go your way. Let's go ahead and grab this lock crate right here, and this is the only item on this floor. Oh, whoops. Well, go ahead and grab that, take care of it. Done deal. Now we're going to keep our weapons holstered. We do not want to provoke these people.
Don't try anything. We're watching you. The Alliance sent assassins to kill Father Kyle, but we stopped them.
Based on what we're hearing, it doesn't seem like the Alliance officials survived. Admiral Hackett's suspicions may have been correct.
Father Kyle says we biotics have to stick together. We can't trust the Alliance.
I love this dude's jacket, man. I mean, this guy looks like a fucking badass. He could be a character in Red Faction Guerrilla. I mean, damn. Fucking Haas, dude. I love it. Alright, we've already got the items in this room, so let's move upstairs. We only have 2 more items left, and I think they're in the room all the way up these stairs and past all these folk.
Father Kyle says we biotics have to stick together.
Let's see if we can move upstairs without incident. I want to make sure I grab all the loot on my first go, so I don't have to worry about coming back for it. But here we go, we have ourselves a medical aid station, as well as a medical kit.
Don't try anything. We're watching you.
I find it kind of funny how you can just walk into a base and, you know, take these folks' stuff without them firing on you. It's like, simple theft? Nah, they don't care. But if you fire a weapon, they come at you like the fury of God. It's, not a win-win situation unless you really want to kill these folks and get some experience. But why do that? I'm playing a Paragon character and I want to stay in role. I want to make sure I stay in character. And we are going to try and keep these people alive. Let's go ahead and make our approach towards the main compound right here. And let's go inside and talk to Major Kyle. Now, as always, make sure to keep your weapons holstered. And just in case, keep your saves handy, because they will be extremely useful if anything does go wrong. Now, in order to convince Major Kyle to stand down, you are going to need an exceptionally high amount of charm or intimidate. So my advice to you is if you do not have the required amount to convince Major Kyle to come peacefully, then you may have to wait for a bit until you're ready to tackle this assignment. So, just a little piece of advice. You may want to keep certain assignments in Mass Effect 1, waiting until the end if you want to have a better outcome. Ideally, you should have all assignments completed before you hit Vermeer, because Vermeer is a point of no return. I'm doing this Let's Play to try and give you guys an idea of some of the ways that you can maximize your earnings from this game and get the best outcome possible. I may miss things here and there, but I do my best to discuss the game and talk about, you know, what you can do here and there if you're playing a Paragon character. But so far, it looks like the cultists in here have not attacked us. They're being pretty civil. So as long as we keep our weapons holstered, we should not have to worry about any hostile actions from them. Let's go ahead and talk to this cultist right here.
The Alliance sent assassins to kill Father Kyle, but we stopped them.
I'm willing to bet that those Alliance officers are dead. I don't like what I'm hearing. It seems that Admiral Hackett may have been right. Let's move over here. Major Kyle is actually going to be in the room at the far end over there. But let's take a look here and grab 2 useful items. Or not so useful items. And let's take a look at this object right here. Done deal. Hey, what's up, dude?
The Alliance wants to wipe us out. Father Kyle told us. Just because we're biotics doesn't mean we don't deserve to be treated fairly. The Alliance wants to wipe us out. Father Kyle told us.
As you can see, there's not much love lost for the Alliance, but let's go ahead and move over here and try and bring Major Kyle in for questioning. And if we do it right, we should be able to bring him in without any bloodshed.
I am Major Kyle. I know why you've come. We have no quarrel with you. Why can't you just leave us alone?
What happened to those other Alliance officers? The ones who came before me?
They wanted to take me away from here. They wanted me to abandon this place, turn my back on my family. They spoke blasphemy. I did what I could to make their end quick and painless. I had no other choice. It was necessary to protect my children. Only I can keep them safe.
The Alliance sent me to bring you in, Major. Can't you see this has gotten out of hand? Don't you understand you are endangering your followers?
I respect that you have come under a banner of peace, but I cannot do as you ask. If you take away their father, my children will be helpless.
You ordered your followers to kill those Alliance investigators. You must face the consequences of your actions. Do you really want your children to suffer for your sins too?
No, this was my fault. My children are innocent, pure. Please, I never meant for this to happen. I'm sorry.
You're doing the right thing, Major. Your children will be better off for it. Come on.
Wait, if my children see you taking me away, they won't understand. They will attack and you will be forced to kill them all. You have shown me the error of my ways, Commander. Now you must give me time to explain it to them. It is the only way they will understand. Please, give me 1 hour. After that, I will meet the Alliance authorities at the gates of my compound and surrender without violence. I give you my word.
I'm gonna trust you. If you betray that trust, you and all your children will suffer.
I will not betray you, Commander. Thank you for this.
Joker can have the 5th Fleet pick Major Kyle up. I just hope you know what you're doing, Commander.
Alright. And we're going to take Major Kyle's word and assume that he is going to live up to his promise. So let's make our way outside. And before we cut out to the exterior of the base, I do want to mention that if you want the followers to restrain themselves and prevent them from attacking you, you should give Major Kyle the time he needs to say goodbye to his folks and disband his group. So with that being said, we are done here. Let's make our way outside.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
Admiral Hackett here, Commander. Your helmsman just forwarded your report on Major Kyle. We sent in a team as you instructed. Kyle's followers have disbanded, and the Major surrendered to us without incident. We'll make sure he gets the help he needs. To be honest, Shepard, I thought this thing was going to end in a bloodbath. I don't know how you did it, but you saved a lot of lives. Congratulations.
Alright, UNC Major Kyle is wrapped up and in the bag. And everyone is walking away alive, so we have done our job in order to protect peace and ensure that people walk away safe and unharmed. And that's exactly what we want to do. Now, a little bit of comment on the backgrounds that you can choose for your Commander Shepard. There are assignments that do tie in to Shepard's background, and as far as the background goes, we have 2 sets of backgrounds. You have your upbringing background, the one that describes your character's childhood, so that could be Spacer, Earthborn, or Colonist. We chose a Colonist background because I wanted a Shepard who had survived the worst, who had survived a Batarian raid on the colony of Mindwar. And that is the first formation, the first part of my Survivor background for Shepard. We also have the Paragon, Renegade, and Neutral backgrounds that relate to the career that our Shepard has taken. You can either be the war hero, the hero of the Skillian Blitz, you can be the Butcher of Torfin, the ruthless background, or you can choose a Survivor background, which involves Commander Shepard surviving a Thresher Maw attack on a Kuz. I wanted to go for a Shepard who was a Survivor character, a character who has survived some of the worst things that the galaxy can throw at her, and despite all of that, this is a character who has maintained an ethical approach to her job, someone who has maintained her own morals, her beliefs, and her own values. And that's the Commander Shepard that I respect, and that's the one that I really want to emphasize in this Let's Play. This is kind of like my model character, someone who I would, if I were in Shepard's crew, that I would follow to hell and back. But there we go. I think this is pretty much it, so I will call it a vid. Alright, this is GreatTreeJam. I just want to wish you guys a happy day, night, evening, afternoon, wherever you may be in this universe or the next. And I hope to see you in my next vid. And we'll be joining Shepard and her crew on our next adventure. And I'm thinking I may want to do UNC Espionage Probe. And we'll be meeting the man behind the Skillian Blitz, the infamous figure who planned the attack. But for now, I bid you farewell, and I wish you a good time wherever you are. Bye.